around Nisqy's performance, but Czajek in the mid lane really stepping up for the team.
Had an absolute banger last week. Didn't die, as far as I remember, in their games. Absolutely smashed it on the rise as well. Let's get into game one of this fearless best of three. Ivan banned away. Maokai, the trees are no more. Who will speak for them, Vedi? They have gone timber. Apparently, according to you, Lilia is a tree champion as well.
Yeah, she falls under that category.
I don't think she does.
More like a forest champion, I would say.
I can give you a forest champion, but you could argue all junglers are forest champions.
I agree. Great methodology. Now, Ivan and Talia are going to be taken away on the side of Rogue. We're on patch 25.7.
We are. So the patch on the bottom of the screen is actually incorrect. That should be patch 25.07, which means slight Neferi nerfs, some Yorick buffs. He's looking pretty strong at the moment.
I mean, we were talking a lot about that. Seeing it pop up in the jungle. Curious as to whether or not any of our pro teams have been experimenting with the pick, but that's the beauty of playing on live patch. You get to see a lot of interesting things very quickly, and perhaps some teams can look to abuse some changes faster than others. So far, the bans seem relatively standard. Iskana going to be joining the pool on the side of Rogue, Maokai, Azir. What will be the follow-up here? Things like Neferi, Gwen, all still available. I definitely think teams are a lot more willing to leave the Gwen open if Jax is also open. So just because it's such an effective counter, and with the Aurora being banned away, now there's a lot of these proposed power picks, but after the nerfs, I do wonder how priority Neferi is actually going to be. Is the Rumble locked in for Adam?
Immediate AP top laner for Adam. There were also some catalyst changes on this patch that I'm wondering if we'll see some more of those tank mid laner builds, like the Ahri with the Rod of Ages, or any AP mid laner really can build that. Galio as well works really well with it. Instead, for now, we're going to have Vitality lock in Varus, widely regarded as the best AD carry on the patch, and then the Pantheon likely going into the jungle, immediately answered by Rogue with Sejuani and Yone.
I mean, I like the top side of Rogue a lot of team fight power. Very valuable skirmishing power as well, just because of how the champions synergize with Sejuani's passive. But reminder that Yone did get nerfed on this patch.
Thank God.
The E now applies that stun duration. He can't just break out of that CC. The Ahri going to be used as an answer into it from Czajek, which gives you such a powerful mid-jungle duo, both Pantheon and Ahri. Really good at setting up for plays, looking for early skirmishes. I'd love to see Lyncas invest in early mid ganks to burn that flash early from Larssen, and then utilize the strength that this Ahri Pantheon combo does have. As a result of this, it means that Vitality can really start to pinch that bot lane pool. Given that they've already locked in their AD carry, I was expecting AD carry bans to come through, but maybe they argue that given Varus is just so much stronger than so many others in the bot lane, let's just pinch that support role instead, prioritize getting themselves the Rell. They could look to ban away the Leona here as well, maybe even forcing Rogue into a Rell ban.
I do also think there are just a few too many good AD carries at the moment. Like, Varus obviously stands above a little bit, but what are you getting rid of here that doesn't have a third or fourth pick that's equally as good? So Ezreal's still available, you have the Kai'Sa, you have Kalista, you have Caitlyn if you want to play that, you've got Draven, you've got Jinx. Like, there's enough options for Rogue that only having two bans towards it would make it a little bit more tricky to really isolate that pool. Alistair and Poppy banned away though by Vitality.
So Rogue either has to ban Rell here, or they leave the Rell open and then respond with something like a Leona, or maybe something else that they've got prepared. Rell, I would imagine, has to be the lock-in here from Vitality, given both Alistair and Poppy and Braum have all been banned away. Question is, what bot lane will Rogue consider? You talked about the Ezreal as an option. He got nerfed in the last patch. Didn't really influence his priority, I would say.
It's pro Ezreal as well, right? Like, the ability to be so safe in lane, the ability to do damage from long range, contribute to a poke comp as well. Even if Ezreal is a little undertuned for solo queue, he's still very powerful when it comes to professional play. And Patrik had a really good game on him last week as well.
Certainly did. I think also he's good weak siding, gives you a lot of safety if your support wants to roam. And there's that Leona that we were talking about. So Rogue looking to try and match. Now, how will Vitality round out their draft in the top lane as an answer into the Rumble? Galio is something that we've seen played before. Naak could go back to something like the Naak if you want something a little bit safe. Even if you do have a weak earlier laning phase, it gives you a little bit more teamfight value. They could also just go for a straight tank if they wanted to. Oh, he's going for a counter pick. The Akali, often used as an answer into the Rumble. Your ability to skirmish against the Rumble can be very effective. You will have kill threat later on into the game. Early, it's very rough. Very rough. You will get pushed in a lot. You will get bullied a lot by the Rumble, but as the game progresses, you will start to gain that kill threat back towards the Akali. So Vitality going for a heavy side lane threat type of comp, a lot of skirmishing power in their kit, a lot of single target damage as well. Pantheon, Ahri, Akali, all about finding that single target, looking to lock them down, execute them. Ideally, Vitality want to be trying to find these picks prior to starting up these objectives, because Rogue, full-on teamfight. Look at the AoE, look at the engage that they've got. Rumble ultimate, Yone ultimate, Ezreal ultimate, the engage that comes through from both the Sejuani and the Leona makes it very easy for them to enter objectives, makes it easy for them to start team fights. Overall, Rogue is poised to look for these 5v5s.
That they are. We'll see how well they can do it, because last week they had a couple of good games, but weren't able to close out as the game went on. Ended up losing both of their series. Vitality only played one. They won that 2-0 versus Giant X. And I think for Vitality fans, they're looking at this roster and saying, it's not just the veterans that are playing well. Nato and Czajek were standout performers last week. Can we keep this momentum going? A series against Rogue should be seen as a very likely win for teams like Vitality if you're challenging for those playoff spots, if you're looking to get into that top 4. Can Rogue stand in their way today? I do have bad news for Vitality fans though, Vedi. Naak 3 games on Akali all time.
Yeah.
Has won 1 of them. Ooh. And that was back in 2022 when he was playing on Fenerbahce. Nice. So a long time since we've seen Naak crack out the Akali in the top lane. Oh, Adam! Double glowing moat start. Okay. Extra cooldown reduction, obviously really nice, or ability haste. You get 10 from each of those glowing moats. Hasn't got any pots either. He's still in base. Is he waiting for gold to upgrade into something?
Wait, I can check real quick for you.
Because he's just dancing around in base right now. Okay, he's sold both his glowing moats and bought a Doran's ring and a pot, which is a little more conventional.
Do you know what I think he's done? Wait.
What? Do you think he tried to build... do you think he right-clicked an item that he wanted to build next?
No.
I
think he wanted to start stacking up his heat meter earlier, so he leveraged the additional CDR from the glowing moats in his base. He then used his E to get slightly more CDR back, and then he returned them both, bought his items, then started going to base. And now he'll return to lane with, well, you can see a good amount of heat meter.
Well, if he loses the lane now, it's all doomed for Rogue. That's all we can pontificate on that, or we can assume.
I mean, that is like proper min-maxing.
I mean, yeah, I love it. That's what I like about League of Legends. Like, I'm 8 years into casting this game and still see these little things that I haven't seen before. I'm sure there's many Rumble players, many Rumble mains in solo can be like, of course, I do that every game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've actually seen it, so I hope I am right in my theory, but I think it makes the most sense. In any case, we kind of return to the lanes. We return to our standard early game as both junglers starting on the top side of the map. Early vision invested from Vitality to spot out Malrang, so they will know that he's pathing towards the bot side, but Rogue doing a similar thing where, given that they've got that early ward on the blue buff on the bottom side of the map, they know that Lyncas is likely starting on his top side. Rogue able to get that early push in the bot lane 2 versus 2. Nothing too crazy happening there. We're on the top side of the map. You expect Rogue to also have priority. So Malrang has a lot of options in terms of pressure in the early game, thanks to the control that his laners have provided. The only problem is going to be in that mid lane where Czajek, in the early laning phase, will be able to bully out this Yone and get that mid prior.
I actually heard Nuke talking a little bit about Larssen on Euphoria, saying one of Larssen's strengths in years gone by was his ability to find pressure in the lane, to win out the laning phase, to push his enemy laner back. Hasn't been able to do it as much this year so far. We'll see in this game how well Larssen is able to deal with Czajek, who has had a very solid start to the split as well.
He certainly has. I was really impressed with his performance last week, especially when he started strong in winter and we were singing his praises, and then he wasn't really able to have the same impact throughout the rest of the split as Vitality fell further and further in the standings. So for him to have another strong start in spring makes me optimistic, and I'm hopeful that we get to see that performance maintained from him as he continues to find very nice trades in the 1v1, doing exactly what he needs to do.
Doing a really good job positioning well while still putting out quite a lot of damage. He had almost 900 damage a minute in the game against Giant X last week. And we'll see if he can maintain that form today. As for the moment, Larssen is very much chunked. You can see that Doran's shield, probably running Font as well in his secondary runes, just to try and get as much health back as possible. Lyncas jumps in, lands the stun on Patrik, who will cleanse to get away from that Pantheon. Only level 2, or force back at a 3rd HP as well. Execute trying to catch the wave, will be able to get himself up towards level 3, which gives him a bit more power. Question is, can Patrik step forward far enough to get back to this wave? Malrang is waiting around the corner in the jungle. Vitality have the vision control right now. Execute doing a good job of holding the wave just outside of tower range, so Patrik can work his way back immediately. Nisqy engaged, though once Execute flashes away. Ignite and flash used by Nisqy, Execute down to 150.
The W and the level up onto Execute made it a lot harder to kill than Nato. He's in kill range here.
So close. Yeah, Adam has to respect it. Flashes away from the 5-point strike.
Very nice trades there. But you can see as the lane continues that Akali starts to get a lot more kill threat. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, just fantastic play from Lyncas. The idea behind not necessarily forcing a kill, but just denying Patrik so much farm. In order to get that first push in, he actually lost a lot of CS. Just on the bounce back, Carzzy was able to accrue a pretty significant CS advantage, and then to lose an entire wave off the back of that as well. Patrik already finds himself, what is that, 260 gold behind, nearly a kill's worth in terms of a deficit.
Charm used by Czajek, out of range of the Zenith blade, well played by him to escape the clutches of Larssen and Execute. I think this is more just to try and get the wave in for Larssen so he can... Oh, he's actually not going to recall because he's already got those triple daggers.
I mean, the wave's in an awkward spot for him now because it's going to start slow pushing towards Czajek. He's going to need more assistance if they want to try and fix this lane.
Execute's looping again, you can see. Czajek is level 6, and Nisqy's on the top side of mid right now. Execute just hovering. Doesn't have that flash, with Czajek having the Spirit Rush. It's very hard to gank him.
Good. Keep your eyes on the minimap as well. An early swap has already come through from Vitality. A lot of the conversation I've been hearing is that swaps are likely to occur more often, especially given when you have that winning bot lane, you want to prioritize getting those early growths, but sometimes in losing bot lanes, you just want to swap them out as quickly as you can so you can claw back some of the deficit that you find themselves in. Vitality have set their sights. Ooh.
Oh, Execute going to follow with the Zenith Blade. Knock up onto Nato here as he tries to get the perfect execution out. Gets into the Twilight Shroud. Looks for that 5-point strike again. Will dash away with the R2. Lyncas, meanwhile, is taking the grubs away. And good play from Nato to stop the Drake from Rogue. They'll get nothing out of the fact that they have a man advantage on the bot side for now.
Completely. I mean, that's a great summary, Medic, as Nato, while he did have to expend some resources, the cross-map now can't happen for Rogue, which gives Vitality the ability to play for the Drake themselves. But Lyncas, he has his eyes set on the top camps. You can see the pings coming down. Top wave is going to be pushed in by Carzzy, meaning that Adam needs to go and respond. No flash on the Rumble as well. Means that blue buff should be easy pickings. Going to secure that one. And again, the top side is just going in favor of Vitality as they continue to accrue advantages.
Already almost 1,000 gold in the lead. Execute on vision here, well placed by Vitality to spot him, as they know the wave's going to be pushing in. That's the sort of hiding spot for a Sejuani or a Leona to look for the engage. Hex Flash in. Czajek and Nisqy will know. Zenith Blade, Nisqy goes back in, gets first blood. Czajek has another Spirit Rush charge in. Nisqy's going to fall though to the tower. Execute takes him. Another rush away from Czajek will get him out of the clutches of Malrang.
Wow. So, support for support.
Yeah.
A bit of support.
And both the supports got the kills.
Yeah, not quite the way that either team would have liked it, but it ends up working out as, crucially, Larssen dying there, just more advantages gained for Czajek. And we're seeing Czajek just absolutely school Larssen in the matchup. Beautiful charm connects to start off that play. With the follow-up coming through from Nisqy, there's very little that Larssen can do to escape. He had his flash available, but there was no window for him to use it to get away. And unfortunately, it was an electrocute proc into an ignite tick that ended up being the kill secure for Nisqy.
You
and then
say
nice
unfortunately. As a support main and as a Nisqy stan, I think it's very fortunate that this has happened. Nisqy's had a really good start to the split. Obviously only one series, you can see, did fall behind on experience, which I think was the big thing we pointed out last week, where he wasn't catching enough XP in the lanes, he was kind of being pulled everywhere. But 90% kill participation, highest kills and assists at the 8-minute mark for supports. Guy's off to a blinder in his first split as support.
I mean, stats-wise for sure, but he himself said that his first game was a little bit shaky.
Stats
and
don't lie, Benny. Except they always do.
They definitely paint a picture.
Yeah, he was definitely shaky. I still think he had a really good start.
For sure. And I think that's the key takeaway, because the big question mark around Nisqy was, okay, what does he provide?
Yeah.
And one of the things we were excited for was his synergy with his jungler in particular. And already we're seeing him work very well with Lyncas, setting up for these early plays and making things happen for Vitality in the early game. We'll keep an eye on his individual mechanical performance and his laning as time goes on. But for now, you're completely right that he is definitely having impact in the games. And so far, Vitality find themselves with a 1k gold lead. And just look at that mid lane difference. We were already talking about how Czajek had a good week 1, but he is just outperforming Larssen in the lane.
It didn't die at all in week 1. Was laning better than Jackie's for the entire series as well. Really off to a stormer so far, Vitality. We kind of want to see that keep going. I will say, caliber of opposition is always something you have to look at in these sorts of positions after only 1 week and after only 1 series. Giantex did not come out swinging in the LEC Spring, nor have Rogue, so you want to pick up a win here if you're Vitality. We can't say that you're going to place first in the regular season or even make playoffs just off of these first 2 series, but it would be a very good start for them.
I think, yeah, in terms of the schedule for Vitality, if your goal is, I mean, everyone's goal will be top 6 at the end of the split, right? But if you expect yourself to have to ramp up over time to build that synergy with Nisqy, this type of schedule is definitely the one you want. You could argue that this is the opposition that you have to beat, so maybe it's more pressure, but Nato, he sees an angle here.
Adam flashes away early. Naako goes back in with a shuriken flip. Perfect execution, not enough. With that Q2 to kill off Adam.
I think Adam may have held on to his W in that fight to try and mitigate as much of the R2 damage as possible. Still though, gets the flash. Ooh, forced to back away as Lyncas was looking to get himself that kill. The timing is nice though, as the grubs are about to respawn. More farm is being denied, and just, I mean, credit to the solo laners of Vitality finding advantages.
Naako's behind the wave here. Doesn't have flash, doesn't have the perfect execution, and as you said, timing was good. Naako greeted for an extra wave. It's the top lane alive as the charm goes down onto execute, but the Shattering Strike does not follow up. Vitality will have to give up these grubs.
Nice TP from Larssen as well. Recognizes that they've won position thanks to the kill they were able to get onto Naako. Doesn't want to waste any time. Immediately moves to bot, gets that wave pushed in as quickly as he can.
Also, Vitality might challenge for
Malrang's
one
alone
out of
now.
these. As you say, Malrang is alone. Adam has the equalizer in the top lane, hasn't moved yet. There's the charm onto Malrang. Magnet Storm coming out as well. Malrang very tanky at the moment. Has the flash and an Arctic Assault. Goes for Czajek. He Spirit Rushes forward, gets the kill. Patrik now beginning to open up another Spirit Rush available for Czajek. The cleanse away into the charm. Czajek still lives through the equalizer burn. Nisqy flashes the Mystic shot, and Lyncas comes over the wall to take the 4th grub. Dodge this! True shot barrage through the heart of Nisqy.
Patrik able to at the very least trade 1-for-1. Rogue getting themselves the 3 kills in total, as they still find themselves at a bit of a deficit. I mean, the good news is they're able to get 2 grubs, but still 4 secured for Vitality. I think Vitality isn't too unhappy with that. Czajek gets a kill, they get themselves a grub. I guess the crucial thing is Patrik gets some gold back for himself. Given that the deficit he found himself in after the early laning phase, much needed kill for him, and a potential win condition for Rogue. Definitely not out of the game just yet. Remember, the big strength of their composition is the team fight.
Yeah.
Vitality's composition is very much about the skirmishing, the 1v1s, the 2v2s, hell, the 3v3s. They want to find these smaller fights where they have a lot of outplay potential with the mobility and their single target damage. So for Rogue to find themselves a little bit behind early on into the game is nothing too surprising. It's a question of how much of a deficit they find themselves in as they get closer to these bigger team fights.
Importantly for Rogue, no one started the dragon stacking yet either. That first Drake of the game is still available. So even if you do need to cede some pressure, give up the first couple of Drakes of the game, you're still looking at a 35 minute clock before you are staring down Soul Point. Action's been more around that top side, around those grubs, and currently those sit 4-2 in Vitality's favor. Looks like we're going back to relatively standard lanes, or at least standard for post 10-minute mark. AD carries match up in the mid lane, top laners up in top, and the mid laners down towards the bottom side. Malrang and Execute just hovering Larssen right now, who has been struggling, about 30 CS down. It's about 5 waves for the Yone behind the Ahri right now.
Keep your eyes on the minimap. Look at Lyncas.
Oh, Grand Starfall. He's looking to make a Starfall in the top lane. Adam, the target, stunned immediately. And he is just deleted by Lyncas and Naako. Meanwhile, Czajek, his first death of spring. He will forward the shutdown over to Malrang.
Nice plays across the board. This will open up the dragon for Rogue as well on the bot side of the map, as Nisqy, he's got to be very careful here. Maybe overstaying is welcome.
Yeah, he definitely is. He does have that crash down, can use it across the wall here to get back to the tower range. Larssen will dash forward though, lands the Q3. Magnus Storm Larssen snaps back to reality. Nisqy, he's falling. Oh, here comes gravity. Underneath the tower, Execute will die to the tower shot and the ignite. Not quite, he survives. Nisqy does not have that same luxury. Larssen takes the kill.
So Rogue get themselves another kill on the bot side of the map. They get a pick onto Czajek, they convert it into the Dragon, they get another pick onto Nisqy, and I think they wisely shouldn't stick around for this tower. They need to get the reset off, get back to base quickly, start spending that gold. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Vitality did unlock that tower. Nato completing the Leandries. This Akali definitely starting to run away with that top side matchup. But overall, the game in a pretty interesting spot. Even though there is a goal difference in favor of Vitality, Rogue showing that they still have moves to fight back.
Yeah, they definitely do, and getting Larssen back in the game as well. That Blade of Ruin can complete on the Yone, as you said, did get nerfed slightly this patch, where if you are CC during your Soul Unbound, when you snap back, that CC isn't all cleansed, you still get crowd controlled. Damage didn't, actually got slightly buffed.
Yep.
His passive no longer has a 10% crit damage reduction on it. Instead, he just does the crit damage that every other champion, well, not every other champion, because some people scale with, most other champions would do with that amount of crit.
Dragon, 4 minutes. We've got the Rift Herald in about 45. Right now, both teams looking to gain control over the side lanes. Rogue hovering around Larssen as they can look for a potential play onto Czajek, but he has support of his own. Mid wave has been completely exposed, and notice what Adam is doing. Realizes that he can't really do much against this Akali.
X-Flash, Shadowing Strike goes wide. He's too tanky, Nisqy, I'm afraid.
That's an old school meme, but I got it.
You remember who it was?
I do.
Yep. It's just a Vitality support thing, buddy.
I mean, look at Naak in the top lane. He is a problem. I don't really think anyone can 1v1 him right now. Maybe Larssen could. Maybe. But it would be a close matchup that I would definitely favor the Akali in. I mean, Rift Herald should be the next objective that both these teams look for as the resets come through. Czajek does have TP, so it makes sense that he would want to path towards the bot side of the map. Maybe Rogue say they're not ready for a fight, so instead they just want to secure that bot tier 1 tower, which they should be able to grab right now.
Carzzy is playing so aggressively in this mid lane, dodging all of Patrik's abilities, even the W, Essence Flux. Not Essence Flux, can't remember the name of Ezreal W, but it has such a wide hitbox at the end that I was surprised it didn't quite click. It is Essence Flux. I'm a genius. Look at that. But because he's dodging all of these, as you can see, taking no damage, forcing Patrik to cleanse, still getting the tower in Patrik's space. Carzzy has always been a very good carry when playing aggressively, often to a fault because of how aggressively he does play because of that, but there we see why it can do wonders for his team.
Well, Vitality with great position on the map right now. They've secured the top and mid tier 1 towers. They've gotten themselves the Rift Tower. They have 4 grubs. The Dragon stacking, as you highlighted earlier, been significantly delayed, given that Malrang's first attempt was interrupted by Naak, who, again, with a 1-1-0 scoreline, you may think doesn't seem that scary, but this Akali, against what he's playing into, it's a pretty interesting situation because fragile is Akali. So when the CC connects, it's very easy to shut her down quickly. Getting Leandries gives you a little bit more HP, making her a little bit more durable and harder to kill. But in isolated 1v1s, she's just very difficult to manage. She has so much mobility, she has so much stalling. So if you over-invest on that side of the map as well, there's cross-map options for Vitality. It's also easy for Vitality to collapse because Czajek has TP, the Pantheon has his ultimate. So Rogue have to be cautious about what fights they take. And it was a really good play of them earlier when they made the cross-map happen. They see 2 people top, immediately force the play bot, knowing that they can guarantee a play where they won't be at a numbers disadvantage.
It makes a lot of sense overall. Next Drake up in a minute's time. Artican in 2 or so. The Rift Herald was picked up by Vitality. Lyncas has that in his pocket. At the moment, Vitality using the mid pressure that Carzzy is developing to get Nisqy into this side of the jungle. You can see there's actually a lot of attention being paid towards the mid laners who are playing through bot. Even when Czajek had backed in a bush, Rogue had a control ward behind that bush, so Larssen pinged it out and said, hey, can someone come and help me check this bush in the middle to make sure that Czajek isn't just waiting here, lying in wait, trying to catch me out for a little bit of a pick. Next Drake in 30 seconds. Rogue have no vision past the halfway mark of the map.
You'll notice as well some interesting animation coming through. The QSS completed for Larssen. Patrik, he doesn't know he's on a ward.
And immediately he's caught out. There's the Magnet Sword follow-up, and Patrik goes bye-bye. Execute's now going to flash the wall towards the red buff. Larssen is here as well. The charm from Czajek lands. A double spear rush forward again from the Ahri, looking for a little bit more, just forcing Malrang and Larssen out of the jungle.
Nice timing from Vitality. Just as the dragon is spawning, they catch Patrik on a ward. Remember that Carzzy had already burnt the cleanse from Patrik earlier on when pushing into that mid tower. So few defenses left for Patrik. He is chain CC'd, he is locked down, and Carzzy's able to pick up both kills.
That's a mistake we have seen from Patrik in the past, especially in Spring, just getting caught out on rotations, not anticipating the enemy team being a good spot to find these picks. He's on a ward, as you say, walks towards Malrang, then's like, oh, I need to catch the mid wave as it comes forward, let me be the first one to walk, and Vitality are lying in wait.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he should have been a little more suspicious because, I mean, the old school rule is you look at the mini-map and you count.
How many circles do I see?
And I saw 2 circles, so I was like, that brush seems very suspicious to me. And, I mean, props to Vitality. They find a pick. They secure their first dragon of the game. Now Naak finds its way onto the rift.
They also get 2 items apiece on their main 2 carries. Obviously, Naak getting towards that spot as well, but Czajek has the Balefire Torch and the Leandries, and it's a Ginsu's Blade of the Ruin King on hit here for Carzzy.
You'll notice no Rod of Ages on the Ahri as well. Something that we've been seeing a lot more in solo queue due to its, well, high win rate and overall performance. So the logic being that you can't really one-shot anything anyway in the current strength of Ahri, so go for a little bit more of the sustain. And I think Czajek is emulating a similar idea. He's just abandoned Rod of Ages and said, I'm just going to go for more burn. If it's going to be more of a drawn-out fight and I'm going to chip away at you, then I'll add more value to my chip damage instead.
It's interesting with Rod of Ages being buffed slightly this patch. Oh, Arkan started here by Vitality, spotted out with the True Shot barrage. Larssen has teleport. Any wards for him to get to? Doesn't look like it. Vitality already have the Arkan down to about 4,000 HP. Shy keeping Malrang at bay. As you say, Vitality will get it, but there are petals afterwards. They need to try and clear all of these before Rogue can step forward. They get most of them immediately on the spawn. Nisqy stunned up, locked up. There's the solar flare into Larssen. Nisqy draws his last breath. So does Lyncas. Carzzy falls to flash away. And the rest of Vitality couldn't join the play. Now, Carzzy, where are you going? You have a cleanse, but Execute has a bunch of CC to work with. There's the Shield of Daybreak into the Zenith Blade. Carzzy will get Execute out of the exchange, but Adam gets a juicy shutdown. Nato jumped on immediately, stunned up with the Permafrost, and there's another for Rogue. In the end, they get 4 for 1.
Definitely not a bad fight for Rogue. A tower, a bunch of kills. They even got a few of the remaining petals. So while the proactiveness was promising from Vitality, it doesn't quite pan out the way that they would have liked. A nice gold swing for Rogue will also equalize the score. Now, crucially, with the Arkan falling, notice how separated Vitality is. Naak actually has to go back to base before he can TP in. And at this point, the fight has already started. A beautiful ultimate from Larssen locks up both Nisqy and Lyncas, meaning that the front line just collapses immediately. As Rogue is stacking up as a 5, these skirmishers can't really find the angle to get the pick that they were looking for. Now, some of you might be confused as to why Naak even considers this play, but he's thinking, I have ultimate, I have Shroud, I can get at least another kill here, but crucially, this knockup from Malrang and Larssen means that he just doesn't quite get the opportunity to do that, and he loses his life as well.
Yeah, really nice far side alteration into the bush there as well, as Larssen was snapping back towards it, so they saw Naak waiting around the corner, and Rogue take the gold lead for the first time this game. It's a Drake apiece. Rogue have equalized the game out mostly. 2 items on Patrik. He has the Manamune and the upgraded to the Mirror Mana and the Triforce. 2 items now on Larssen when Immortal Shield Bow second. Nisqy going in. There's the Magnestorm. Equalizes a follow-up and Adam goes pop. The Solar Flare from Execute does land onto Lyncas, but the rest of his team is nowhere to be found. It's a double again for Vitality. Nisqy, oh, he looks for flash cube. Czajek going forward. Chain of Corruption dodged by Patrik, but Lyncas has a flash of his own. Meanwhile, on the backline, Larssen jumps on Carzzy and should be able to mow him down. Patrik escapes. Naak starting to collapse, but he can't get onto Malrang and Larssen. Rogue do find a kill out of the end of the exchange.
A chaotic scrap, but I'm not really sure what Vitality can get off the back of it. There's possibility of looking at the box tier 1, but the waves aren't in a great spot. They'll need to answer those, and also the HP bars aren't the best. Quite a lot of flashes were committed on the trying to kill Patrik, and while they did get his summoner spells, look at this. Hex Flash over the wall, drops the control ward, they lock down Adam, and he is given no recourse for a counterplay. Meanwhile, again, you look at the minimap and you'll just notice that it's a numbers differential. Larssen wasn't there, and it was good awareness from Vitality to force the fight. But crucially, the idea behind the fight, cool, okay, maybe get a pick, but at this point, you've gone way too deep. Just way, way, way too deep. Larssen finds a nice pick of his own onto Carzzy on the back end. Ends up being 2 for 1, but crucially for Rogue, like, nothing was really lost. You know, they didn't lose any objectives, they didn't really lose much vision, and it's Rogue immediately back with control over the river.
Patrik did lose his summoners, but as you say, 2 flashes were burnt to get those summoners out. Czajek's and Lyncas. Nisqy's flash, I think, was burnt more for Adam, so you could argue either way where Nisqy's flash went. But still, a bunch of summoners used by Vitality, and Rogue will have the setup around the Drake. Second of the game for either of these two teams. Now,
for Vitality, it's a difficult thing to face check into this composition because you're fishing into both Leona and Sejuani. You're very reliant on your Pantheon and your Rell in order to try and create space, and this is what makes it difficult because you're also just walking into the poke of this Ezreal. They've been able to find an angle through the bot wave. The chip damage continues to come down. Good from Larssen to push in this mid wave. And again, it's Vitality that's in the awkward spot. Rogue can play the patient game because they can just play for the mid tier 1. Really good positioning here. Very patient play from Rogue. Now they can use the mid wave to immediately move back towards the dragon, and the rest of Vitality have to respond to the waves. And so it's an uncontested objective. Just well executed, and a great demonstration of how you can, with your composition, you just exert pressure. You know, like with Vitality's composition, Rogue is very aware of how much harder it is to enter an objective. And so as long as they play it patiently and don't overforce, then it makes it very difficult for Vitality to really do anything. So they get themselves the mid tier 1, they get themselves the dragon, and again, we find ourselves in an equal gold state.
Yeah, we do. It does feel like Rogue's comp, that when it comes to team fighting, just generally better. You talked a bit about in draft, a bit about in the early game, Vitality looking more for those skirmishes, and with an even game state at 26 minutes, you've got to be pretty happy this situation as Rogue, especially since Larssen's laning phase has been overcome. He's now 1,300 gold ahead of Czajek, who has been playing really well, but just hasn't been able to be funneled as much gold as Larssen has. Larssen with 4 kills on this Yone. It reminds me a little bit of his LeBlanc game last week, where he struggled to have a huge impact later in the game. Here on the Yone, has all the tools to have impact.
I would say this game is very counterintuitive if you're familiar with Larssen's history.
Yeah.
Because he's typically always been known for his laning.
100%.
And then his... Oh, Lyncas, he's going to die.
Burning. Malrang coming in as well. Yeah, Lyncas is just dead.
He's just dead.
That's a lot of damage from Adam with the Flame Spitter. Lyncas without... Well, only got the Merchant's full magic resist. Is that Baron?
That is Baron. I mean, the jungle is dead. Why not? Just force it. You know you have a stronger team. You use nothing to get that kill. Patrik just burned his ultimate, sure, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, force it, 100%. Here we go.
You can see Larssen working his way through mid lane. Nato is answering the bot wave right now. Czajek looking for that flank position. Nisqy doing the same, has Hex Flash and Magnet Storm. Everyone grouped up for the Baron. It's a perfect opportunity for a Rell to go in, but where's the follow-up if he does? TP from Nato. The Baron already down to 4,000 HP. Malrang just sitting in the pit. Nisqy jumps across. There's the equalizer follow-up. Malrang lands the smite. There's the Baron. Execute goes forward onto Nisqy. He Magnet Storms out, but the Solar Flare finds him as he lands, and Adam will burn him where he stands. On the back line, Larsen's diving further forward. Czajek dashing away to escape, but it's gorgeous for Rogue. They find the kill at the end with the Ignite and the Liandry's burn. Rogue get a delayed ace as Lyncas has just come back alive. They get the Baron, they have a 3,000 gold lead, and 28 minutes in, it's all coming up Rogue.
A single pick has just given Rogue full control over the game. Such a delayed engage, nice double knockup from Larssen into the Rumble ultimate to kind of separate the fight on 2 fronts. They focus the front line, the CC comes through, they get rid of Nisqy as quickly as they can. And again, it's one of those situations where, okay, Larssen fumbles a little bit, and crucially this stun that comes through from Malrang to keep Patrik alive. So much was happening in the fight that even I couldn't keep track of it all, but ultimately, Rogue, good target selection, played the fight patiently, they only lose a single member, they get the Baron off the back of it as well. And now they're in a game-winning position.
For Vitality, you've seen it slip away through your fingers, right? You got a Pantheon, but gods aren't answering right now as he's been struggling to have an impact since the early game. Patrik pushing through mid here. It's a 4-1 split. Larssen's going to base, has TP, will go to the bot wave. They're looking for all the tier 2s to kick off this push. Already 5,000 gold out of the Red Bull Baron power play and a 5,000 gold lead. Grand Starfall into the solar play. Patrik cleanses away immediately. Equalizer coming out as well as Nato tries to get onto the backline, and he does exactly that. He will shut down Patrik. Larssen is not here for the follow-up. Rogue lose one. It's their AD carry, but they could look to turn around the play. No Equalizer, no Glacial Prison, no solar player. Makes it a tricky endeavor.
I mean, this is the idea behind Vitality's comp. Find these picks. If you're able to catch someone out, you create the numbers advantage and you immediately alleviate a lot of the pressure that Rogue is able to generate. They're able to get that kill onto Patrik. They get both of his summoners, and this time they didn't have to commit as many resources. That doesn't take away from the fact that there's still a Baron buff on Rogue and they're still in a winning position.
Oh, Larssen! Oh, Larssen! Oh, Larssen, yes! Oh.
You're conflicted.
That was nice!
No, I can tell, because you think the play from Larsen's good, but he did do it on Yone.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But he QSS'd the chain of corruption so he could snap back.
Oh, I mean, Larssen is playing incredibly well. Again, his laning phase wasn't very good, but you can see his impact later on into the game. 6-1 and 8 scoreline. He's been involved in, if my math is correct, 14 of the team's 16 kills.
That's good maths.
I mean, he's having an impressive game. 3 items completed with the QSS on top of that. Again, this is just a quick reminder that Rogue is still in a winning position even after losing Patrik in the mid lane.
Yeah, 4,000 gold ahead, and they have 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left on this Baron now. They will get all the tier 2s out of it. Obviously would have wanted a little bit more, but there's still a large gold infusion straight into their veins, and with the pushing lanes, they can turn their eyes towards their 3rd dragon of the game. An Ocean Soul would be monumental for them if they can secure it. Vitality will do everything they can to stop that. Question is, what do they have left in that toolbox? Do they have a spanner, a wrench to throw in the works?
They're going to have to find one, because Rogue's composition, we've already seen how it plays out in the team fights. Vitality just have so much single target damage, but now Rogue have too many threats. Okay, you invest all your resources into killing Patrik, cool, Larssen and Adam will clean up the fight. Okay, let's break this up into smaller 1v1s. But how are you going to do that in a 5v5? You know, it becomes difficult, which is why it was crucial that Vitality played through sides, find picks, leverage the fact that you have a Pantheon ultimate to maybe, oh, I don't know, if Adam is clearing a wave in bot lane, you send the Akali, maybe have the Ahri shadow, you find that pick, and then you convert it into a bigger team fight. If you don't do that and you're just playing straight front to back 5v5, well, Rogue just has the better position.
Yep, game's hard at that point. Game is hard. Vitality grouped up as 4 here. It's Nato pushing out the side lane. Adam has a Zhonya's Hourglass finish now, so Nato has much less kill threat. In fact, both the top laners at 3 items apiece. This tower should fall, though. With Nato having a sizable wave here, Adam is just going to accept that the tier 1 in the bot lane is not long for the world, as it crashes and crumbles into rubble.
Looks like Rogue is just going to play the patient game for now. Baron spawns in 1 minute and 25. You can see that time in the top left of your screen.
Rogue playing the patient game then?
I know. Shocker.
Ooh, I've been surprised by so many things today.
Now, the problem with that is that in this position before, we have seen them fumble once or twice.
It does happen.
It does on occasion happen. Now, I don't want to bring back Rogue time, but if it happens again, there may be some precedent.
But Rogue time wasn't it between 15 and 25 minutes?
Yeah.
So we're officially out of Rogue time.
Yeah, I'm just saying there may be a new definition.
Do you think it's going to be like New Coke, where they brought in a whole new recipe and it was actually just worse than the original?
Who knows? We're going to find out. Okay. That's what's going to happen. Let's see if Rogue can close this game out. Again, for all intent and purposes, they should be able to win.
Hashtag go Rogue.
It's just a question of also, if Sally's ulted at this point, I don't know if there's any really counterplay.
I don't think Sally would ever ult in a Rogue game. In Rogue's favor, I'd say. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think he's learned his lesson. Yankos had to shave his eyebrows. I think they've learned. Oh, TP behind here. as Nako's looking to the flank. Magnustorm in by Nisqy, only really landing onto one. Czajek still chasing forward here. Larssen able to get out towards the backside. Execute escaping as well. Patrik's opening up. And already Lyncas is trying to dive onto Patrik. No, Nato is dead. Lyncas is going to fall as well. But he does get Patrik in response. The flame splitter from Adam. Larssen now trying to re-engage Czajek, Nisqy and Carzzy. All relatively low. Adam has to flash away. It's a 2 for 2 in the mid lane.
That was a 2 for 2. Vitality are able to find an angle after forcing a full-on 5v5 fight.
Yep.
I'm going to need to go back and see this replay because initially, I thought that this was just a losing play for Vitality. I thought that things were going to fall apart here, but then they were able to get some decent damage down. I want to say it was because Nato found a good angle. Hang on a minute, they've TP'd back in, they're just going to force the Baron, and they can do this. Sejuani's already on his way back.
So Czajek does have teleport.
Doesn't matter, there's no smite, unless Carzzy can do the Gumayushi.
Can he do it? Well, they'll see it. That control ward, though, denying any further vision in the pit. The Baron already down to 2,000. Equalizer. Okay. Carzzy. No.
Not going to happen, and that's a Baron secured.
Bring in Smash. Sub him in.
Okay. That is okay. I'm not going to touch that. Baron secured for Rogue. So ultimately, the fight did end up going negatively for Vitality. Let's look. So the TP flank comes in to start off the fight. Larssen QSS is early. Nice engage overall from Nisqy as he draws a lot of the focus. Execute gets shut down very quickly. Nato dives onto the backline. He then becomes the next target. And then Czajek and Carzzy just have the freedom to free hit in the fight as Lyncas trades his life for Patrik. So understandable why it ends up being such a close fight. But of course, losing our jungler means there's no smite. And now Nisqy, is he overextended?
Nako's there as well. Solar Flare does clip Nisqy only for the slow. Nato almost killing off Adam. It's enough. Nato gets him. Will pay for it with his life, you have to feel. In the Zhonya's, sniped out by Patrik at the last possible minute, but that's only 4 Barons are left for Rogue. Adam is down. Top wave is pushing in, but with Drake up in 30 seconds time, no one's going top. QSS away from the stun. Larssen no longer has that tool at his fingertips. Rogue still stepping forward. Czajek doing everything he can. Look for those charms in this next fight. Nisqy, no flash, does have that Magnustorm, the true shot barrage. There's the charm again, only on to Execute. Shadowing Strike as well for the follow-up. CC, the dive in by Lyncas. Execute doesn't have an opportunity to breathe. Magnustorm on the backline. Lyncas gets the kill onto Execute. Czajek has the Spirit Rush, goes forward. Ring, ring. Hello, Patrik. This is Vitality. They slam Rogue into the dirt and only Larssen's left alive.
We're looking at the Sally Ultimate live, and it's happening in real time. Rogue, they fall short in the fight once more. The dragon being secured, the soul will be denied. 36 minutes into the game. I mean, oh no.
New Rogue time.
Oh no.
Do you love it? What a tasty flavor.
So we look back at the fight, and this ulti from Patrik was huge onto the 2 carries as well. And you think that the fight should be done and dusted, but the charm comes through. Execute the front line. I mean, he gets executed to start off the fight. Nisqy then chain CCs the front line. Czajek and Carzzy again are left untouched, and they just turn it into a single target fiesta. Larssen is forced to ulti away, and Vitality find the picks they need to deny the soul.
And now for Rogue, you're wondering how have these last couple of fights gone so wrong? Carzzy
we would be asking
huge.
the same question.
Yeah, Carzzy is huge. 4 items, Jack Show complete now as well. Has been untouched in the last 2
You're
fights.
completely right.
Still has both of his summoners. The on-hit Varus obviously does so much damage in the late game compared
if he's
to...
free to hit.
Exactly.
And that's exactly as you're highlighting, Medic. He's been given so much freedom. That threat from Larssen that we've seen a lot in so many of the other previous fights hasn't been there in the last few. Execute hasn't been able to connect that ultimate onto Carzzy, who still has both of his summoners up. Now, crucially, a lot of summoners are coming back up for a lot of players across the board, which means that this next fight is going to be a big one. It just becomes a lot about getting that mid control, gaining access into the river. But a reminder that Baron is still 2.5 minutes away and Dragon is 3.5. So both these teams are just going to keep clearing waves as we get closer and closer to full build.
And one of the problems for both the teams is the engage is so fast that if you put someone in a side lane, in the time it takes for them to teleport into the mid lane, the fight might already be over. We've seen that happen for Vitality earlier when Nako's TP was a little bit late because he based a little bit late and they just lost the top side fight around that Arakan. Poke coming out from Patrik with the Mystic shots. Nako looking for the flank. No real vision for Rogue on that top side, so they don't know exactly where Nako is. I think he showed on the wave here. Nisqy goes in. Czajek there with a follow-up base seal coming out from Larssen. Czajek dashes back in with the Spirit Rush. Larssen snaps back. Now Nako will fall, so will Larssen. Now it's a 4-for-4. Nisqy low, Lyncas low as well. Czajek has one more Spirit Rush. Patrik opens up, but he can't quite land. That extra bit of damage, it's a true shot, and it goes through the uprights, but now Carzzy's the target, cleanses away, can't get away from death. 2 more kills over the Rogue, they look for Czajek, the flash forward into the charm, flash away from Czajek, Patrik misses the Mystic shot, the Essence Flush lands onto Nisqy, Czajek almost down as well. Patrik was looking for those final couple of shots, but Czajek and Nisqy will limp away.
These death timers are very long, and given that Patrik is still alive, Rogue can look for the end. I don't know if Czajek is enough to stop the Rogue siege.
What can you do, Vitality? Can you hold on? Right now on the precipice, Solar Flare, Equalizer both used, Shadowing Strike out from Nisqy, Czajek down to no HP. The minion wave though almost cleared out. Nisqy will fall, still 2 minions here. Patrik takes a couple of tower shots, and Rogue will not be able to break the Nexus towers.
We go
TP's behind,
again.
we go again straight away, Betty!
Straight back into the action. Adam and Patrik, they're going to get collapsed on.
Nako, what can you do in this sort of situation? Czajek does have the Spirit Rush. He's got to run away. Okay, less exciting for Vitality, but perhaps for Rogue, the opportunity to find a tasty fish in a barrel. Nako,
the blue
trinkets. Has the oracles on. Hide behind the crux, they'll never know. Oh wait, they know.
There's a blast cone!
He can jump across. Perfect execution, into the perfect execution, into the blast cone! Patrik dashes in, executes it! And Patrik will take the kill. He's on a rampage now. Nako dead for 60.
Oh, okay, so I thought the E over the wall was really bad because I thought execute was someone else. But it was completely fine. He ended up getting that kill onto Nako. Now both TPs from the solo laners are gone, and crucially, Baron up in 10 seconds. That's going to be a 5v4 around the Baron, and Vitality have to fight it. I don't know how they're going to win out on this fight without that backline threat from Nako. But Rogue, again, I think this is their 3rd Baron of the game.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend that during Rogue games I don't go into a fugue state, okay? Everything for the last 20 minutes or so has been a blur. Afterwards, people will say I said things, and I'll have to listen to the VOD to make sure I said them.
You can't say that this hasn't been entertaining.
It's been great fun, Betty. It's just a fever dream.
We go again. Rogue now with the Baron. The Soul spawning in 20 seconds. Nako will be alive for this contest. He should be able to get there in time as well.
Sprinting out.
That is a flank angle for Nisqy, and they don't know. Oh, they know. They know.
The flangle has been discovered. Solar Flare into Glacial Prism. Nisqy's going to jump the wall. How much can you delay? Larssen used his Odoamne as well. And the QSS here to make sure that Nisqy's dead. Soul for Rogue is their prize. I wondered if Vitality might fight it, knowing that all those Odoamnes are down, but without their key engaged tool, they're not going to go for it.
Now, Baron plus Soul, surely nothing bad will happen to Rogue. Surely.
Stop trying to be Sally, man.
I'm just saying, like, logically, based on all of the evidence presented, it would be highly improbable that from this position, Rogue would lose.
Hypothetically, yes, that would be the case. And
I feel
through this paper, I will discuss why that's not been the case on many occasions.
And this paper, yeah, that's a good one. All right, let's see.
Rogue pushing through bot. Nako looking for a flank position. Could just be catching the next wave as well, but it is a super minion. Now he's going through his own jungle, but that has been warded out by Rogue. Nisqy is alive, has the Hex Flash, has the Magnet Storm.
They don't have the wave clear to stop this. This should be an uncontested inhibitor.
It's definitely going to be the inhibitor tower. I wonder if the contest might come a moment later, Betty. There's the inhib. Nexus tower has regened a little bit, but only up to 1/3 of its health. Nako has the flash. There's the Magnet Storm for the follow-up. Equalizer on the backline. Nisqy's so low, but look at the damage coming out from Czajek and Nako. Larssen down to half HP. He's got a GA executes the first one to go down. The Giant Guardian's Angel for Larssen will bring him back to life, and the Charm and the Shadowing Strike do not connect. Adam burning Nako. Czajek and Lyncas to the ground. Czajek forced away. The GA popped on Carzzy as well, as Rogue will win the fight, and after 42 minutes, they will claim the first game of this best of 3.
an exciting back and forth, a comedy of errors, but Rogue will secure the final team fight. The soul proving so valuable in that final fight as well. Vitality just didn't quite have the damage, even though they got a fantastic engage.